Last time on Square Roots, John checks out his reflection, Jim becomes a mysterious masked dwarf, Matt makes friends with a rat, and Vanessa's entire family is fridged. Then it's all off to Camp Warden to get our warden badges. This is going to be the best summer ever.
Everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by, well, not by Matthew Van Zandt. He's sick.
Oh, feel better, Matt.
John, see, it's a good name for John this time. John Ostagar Brandon.
Ostagar, not to be confused with Orzammar, which
That's
is a totally
true.
different place.
They are a little phonetically similar, and we're also joined by Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
Hey guys, we're playing Dragon Age Origins.
Yay!
Yay! Where is Matthew?
He's ill.
Oh.
He says he got a fever.
Oh.
He has really bad diarrhea.
Fever in the morning.
He has a fever of the butt.
Fever. Fever of the butt. He's got a fever of the butt. He's got butt fever. Boom. Boom.
Hey guys, before we talk about Dragon Age Origins, would you like to talk about how you leveled up?
Yes.
Well, what's this podcast about?
This podcast is about Matthew's diarrhea.
No. It's about playing a classic RPG.
We do play classic RPGs, and then we talk about our experiences with them.
And this is Chunker 2 of Dragon Age Origins. So if you want to start at the beginning, go back to Chunker 1, which is the last episode.
Yeah,
use your little podcast app and your tippity-tappities, press the boops, and go to that one.
In this chunker, we're going to talk about getting to the Grey Warden camp all the way to the Siege of Redcliffe.
Are we going to meet a pretty handsome prince?
Yes. Stealth Prince.
Yay!
This game has everything. A prince in disguise.
There's one thing in this game that really indicated quality. I'll talk about it in a minute when we get into it, but one thing I really appreciated. I'll talk about that soon. But first, Vanessa, you seem like you had a good, nice, good level up. Why don't you lay it on us?
I sure do have a good one, and I'm extra excited about this because I'm scooping it from Matt. That's right. Matt has been talking endlessly about fry fraud. Fire fraud.
Firefox?
Fire fraud.
Oh, this is what I was going to talk about, too.
Oh, is it? I'm scooping it from both of you. Jim, did you watch the Hulu documentary or the Netflix documentary?
I watched them both.
Whoa, I only watched the Hulu one, and it was so good.
It is
so you
good.
can talk about the Netflix one.
You want me to talk about it right now?
Yeah, let's just do it together.
Okay. Do you want me to go first?
I want you to go in tandem, together, I just said.
We're just going to go at the same time?
Yeah, we're just going to go at the same time.
Let's not do that.
Like a conversation, not like talking over each other.
Oh, okay. So, so these are two documentaries made in parallel, both about the big fraud known as the Fire Festival that happened in 2017.
John, are you familiar with the Fire Festival?
I remember articles about it when it came out. When it happened. Or
so
didn't happen.
There was this fraudster named Billy McFarlane, and he, along with his buddy John Rule, created all this buzz for a big, like, millennial music festival that was supposed to happen in the Bahamas. And they seemed like they spent 99% of their time perpetrating the fraud and 1% of the time actually trying to get the festival off the ground.
Yeah, but it's weird because they didn't really intend it to be a fraud, I don't think.
But they didn't do any of the work required to make it an actual festival.
No, it's like they didn't have some kind of plan to run a pyramid scheme or something like that. And that was a pattern with this McFarlane guy. He kept basically running a pyramid scheme on himself.
Yeah.
Like, he would tell people, like, oh, I have 200 Hamilton tickets that you can buy. And he didn't. So then, like, he'd have to go buy them from StubHub and then sell them at a loss to these people, essentially. And then he'd have to sell tickets to another show to, like, make up for the money he had lost on that.
Yeah, he's a grifter, so he would make
a really bad one.
A really bad one. So he'd perpetrate a scam, get a bunch of money up front, and then when he'd have to deliver, he'd be in the red. So he would have to then do another scam to pay for his losses on the previous scam, and it just kept going and going.
Yeah. But it's like most people scam for money, but I think he was sort of scamming just for
like a
looking
lifestyle.
Cool. Yeah. Like access to these Instagram people who I really know nothing about that whole thing.
Like I work in marketing, so like I don't like know these people, but I know the industry, and I think it's really gross. But it's basically like they put out the word about this fire festival through like, you know, the influencer network of like supermodels and Jenners and Kardashians and got everybody super excited about it.
An influencer is sometimes a celebrity, but sometimes just a person.
It's a person with essentially a big Instagram following.
Or like GB ASMR or Fairy Char ASMR, the biggest influencers I'm aware of. They often have sponsored cosmetic stuff, and one time GB was talking about a organic produce store for like half an hour in her ASMR video.
They get paid to do Instagram posts.
Yeah, they're sort of the Instagram equivalent of like big name Twitch streamers or something, right?
Yeah. And so you mentioned the Netflix documentary, or I'm sorry, you mentioned watching the Hulu one. I watched the Netflix one just last night. There's a controversy between these two documentaries in that they say that the Netflix one was made unethically because it was co-produced by Jerry Media, who is an ad agency that were the people in charge of all of the influencer marketing and social media marketing for the Fire Festival that tricked everybody. And the Hulu one is supposedly ethically dubious because they paid Billy McFarlane somewhere in the ballpark of $200,000 to participate in the documentary.
Oh, I wondered how they got him to be on camera because he comes off so poorly.
Yeah,
like
so
a sociopath, basically.
Yeah, so apparently they paid him a bunch of money. So people were saying that, you know, Hulu one was bad because they paid Billy McFarlane and he scammed all those people. And then people said the Netflix one was bad because it was co-produced by Fuck Jerry Media.
What?
Have you ever heard of Fuck Jerry, the meme creator company?
No, is it called that?
I had not.
Yes,
That's what it's really called.
It is called that. It is Fuck Jerry. If you go on Facebook or Instagram, you'll find Fuck Jerry, and they have millions of followers.
What?
And they have an offshoot called Jerry Media, where they do social media where they essentially do memes for brands, and then they do influencer marketing. But they co-produced the Netflix documentary. So people were kind of, you know, upset about both. They're both really fascinating in different ways. I think they're both worth watching for sure.
I was listening to a conversation between two producers, and they're talking about how, is this GIF-able? We have to get some GIF-able moments out of this and get them to marketing. It's like, what?
I hate that.
What? Wow.
I work
Do you look for GIF-able moments in your day-to-day life, Jim?
No, I work in internet marketing. It's like it's my trade, I guess. But when people start talking about that, would say things like this would make a cool gram or a GIF-able moment or something like that, it makes me cringe hard.
I'm not going to name your company on air, Jim, but Does it have an Instagram?
It does.
Nice.
In fact, I write a lot of our social media. I either write them or I copy edit them. All of our social media posts and our long form story content.
Long form story content.
Yeah, like we put out articles and stuff. I write them.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Dear Jim, I never thought this would happen to me.
He does work for Penthouse Media.
But yesterday when I bent over, my pants ripped up the seam. I knew something had to change.
That's what?
You know, it's just a preamble.
To a porn story?
Sure, why not? I mean, you're more of an expert than I am in this particular area, John, but I'm pretty sure most gay porn stories start with someone bending over and their pants ripping up the seam.
Yes.
How else are you going to access that butt?
Actually, I've been hit on before in that exact circumstance.
What?
When I used to work in a department store lawn and garden center, and I bent over to pick up a grill. I was loading a grill and my pants split. And a man that I was working with used that as an in to voice his attraction to me.
Oh.
I shouldn't laugh because workplace, harassment is a serious issue, but also you were standing there with split pants.
I worked for a while at a BMW dealership, and there's a lot of really low BMWs, like the coupes are very low. And so I always brought an extra pair of pants to work because there's a lot of snow, and so I was outside a lot and had wet pants. But in this case, I was getting into a low 6 series and my pants split. And so I was just sitting in it and waiting for a person from sales to walk by. And I was like, hey, could you go to my desk and get another pair of pants? It was pretty great. Another Tales of Pants Splitting.
John, was that your level up?
No. That it would be a level up classic, I guess.
What's your level up, John?
I've been playing some games.
Oh, tell us about them.
Well, I played some more Smash Brothers. I've unlocked 5 characters. Well, no, I guess 8 characters now. So it's a slow process. There's 70.
Oh my gosh.
And I also got from Amazon, it was a little bit painful, I got Tekken 7 finally. I've been trying to get that for a while.
Why? Was it painful? Did you get that
for the character creation?
No, I haven't. I think Soul Calibur has the sexy character creation.
That's right.
This game came out in 2017, and it has disappeared completely from retail shelves in Canada. There are no stores that carry it.
Golly. And
online, it is a full-price game, I think. Or maybe it's $69 instead of $79, so it's almost a full price game. But I on PSN, but I found a cheaper copy new on, Amazon and ordered it that way. And I was playing that. I played some more Horizon Zero Dawn, which has very good writing.
Mm-hmm.
That game's amazing.
I just met Olin and he's mysterious and interesting. And I really want to explore old ruins. That sounds super fun.
Have you met the character that looks like you?
No, that's not Olin, right?
I don't remember.
There's Olin who kind of looks like me, but I think there's a gay guy who really looks like me.
I don't remember. I don't think Olin was... I don't think the John that I'm thinking of in Horizon Zero Dawn was gay, because I think he had a family.
Oh, is he the one...
I'd like a wife and kids, I think. Am I wrong, Vanessa?
That would be Olin, maybe, because he's the one who's a scrounger who's has the ear thing as well.
I think, yes, that's him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I just met him.
But there is another one who also looks like John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because especially when I have the mutton chops. And, Horizon Zero Dawn is fun. I don't love stealth gameplay. I'd say is my biggest problem with it. And also, every open world game has thousands of skill trees you're supposed to unlock. And I'm playing Spider-Man right now, and that has all the skill trees, and it's just, I don't need that many skill trees. I just want to play the game. You need to back off these RPG elements in non-RPG games a little bit.
I agree.
Anyway.
I love skill trees.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I like them in RPGs, but I find like in games where I just want to have fun and explore the story, they sometimes get in the way.
I also love stealth gameplay.
Oh, well, maybe we like different kinds of games, Vanessa.
What? Mm-hmm. Well, which one of us is right and which one of us is wrong?
Oh, I think there doesn't have to be a right and wrong about opinions on pieces of culture. I think you can appreciate different kinds of things.
This is a radical point of view.
You're a radical point of view.
I know.
Because you're great.
Well, thanks.
No problem. Hey, what's that over there by your feet there, Vanessa?
Oh, well, it's sort of wooden and long and covered in bark, and it's just it's a log, and let me just roll it out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's the quest log.
Oh, hi, quest log. Let us.
That's a good-looking quest log.
Burn it. And
don't.
Oh, nope. Sorry.
You can't burn the quest log.
Let us read it.
Yeah, that's a better idea.
What does it tell us to do today?
Today, we are picking up where we left off. Interestingly, we all four left off in a sort of, the same place, but we got there in different ways. Mm-hmm. But now it's time for all of us to come together as one at the camp.
Ooh, I love camp.
Yeah, we're going to camp.
And one of the first things after you have your little talk with Duncan is you meet a prince. No, not a prince. A king.
Yes, King Kalen.
Kalen.
That guy.
He's like...
He's a silly man.
He's a silly man? Why would you say that?
He's silly. Don't
He's
you think he's kind of silly?
He's excitable and naive.
We're going to have an adventure. I'm going to fight lots of darkspawn and be the wonderful king hero of yore. It'll be amazing and nothing bad will happen.
Mm-hmm. He has shiny golden armor. Mm-hmm. He has shiny blonde hair. Mm-hmm.
He's pretty well liked for how goofy he is.
Yeah, he seems to be.
He's like a fun boss. He's the kind of king who lets you leave work at 2 p.m.
Yeah. But also sometimes you're working on something and then he's like, ice cream party! Everybody in the break room for ice cream! Aren't I the fun boss? And you're like, I really was in the middle of sending this email.
He's the one who makes you participate in Secret Santa even though you don't want to.
Yeah. He just comes to your desk and he's like, pick a name. And you're like, I didn't agree to pick a name.
Sorry, I don't believe in Andraste. Pick a name.
Yeah. And in my particular case, he sort of recognized me. He was like, oh, you look super familiar. You must be Arl Kuslin's daughter. How's Arl Kuslin? He's a great guy. And you're like, well, he's straight up dead. Everyone's straight up dead. And he was very upset to hear that. And he proclaimed that once the Blight was over, he was going to march his army right up to my little Arldom and take it back.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
so
nice
I was happy. Yeah.
Now, he'll definitely do that as soon as he survives the next battle.
I'm really excited to go reclaim my home.
Yep. He didn't say much to me other than noting I was an elf. And he's like, I haven't met too many elves. And I was very polite to him because, he seemed nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fun guy.
Like a mushroom?
Yes. Like a mushroom.
What did he say to you, Jim?
He said he didn't understand why a dwarf would want to become a Grey Warden, which is pretty racist.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the deep roads connect right to Ostagar, right? Or Zamar.
Yeah. He said, but he was pretty polite about it. He's like, I don't know why a dwarf would want to be here, but I'm glad to have you, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess that's okay.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, you could his jolly demeanor shone through his blatant racism.
Yeah. He's drawing attention to your otherness.
Well-meaning racists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people at this camp, though.
Yeah, there's lots of people, lots of different kind of people.
I don't remember talking to Wynn at the camp.
Oh, I did.
I totally talked to Wynn at the camp. She's just she doesn't have anything special. It's not like you get a real cut scene when you meet her, because normally when a playable character is introduced, you get a whole thing.
Mm-hmm, right. Mm-hmm. It makes it really clear.
Yeah,
here's
they do something radical.
Lady.
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew. She doesn't shatter 17 people as they turn to ice.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't do that. She's just
nope.
There's a nice old lady there. It's hello, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Wynn.
I have something to say about the ladies in this game.
Mm-hmm.
No matter their age, no matter their lot in life, every single lady in this game has the exact same body. And for characters like Wynn, who is supposed to be, I don't know, 50 at least, it's really distracting to me as a woman to see her with this 20-year-old, how shall I put this, breast.
Yeah.
And physique. And because it just makes it look like she's had plastic surgery. She definitely, those aren't natural.
I mean,
maybe it's
she is a mage.
I guess that could explain it. Do you think that mages have, magical lifting spells?
Yeah.
There was a lady on the train yesterday when I was on the train to work.
Ooh.
She had her
Where's this going?
She was with
Dear
her friend
Jim.
and she had her dancing gear and was talking about being a dancer, and she was probably late 50s early 60s, but really built, in super way better shape than I'm in. It was just wow, that lady is in fantastic shape, but she didn't have giant breasts because she's a dancer.
Right.
Unlike the ladies in this game, although I think Dragon Age 2, I love Dragon Age 2, but the mom in that is spectacular. If you remember the mom in that game.
I do not.
Oh, well, we'll get there in 2021, which seems like the future.
2020, the year of sequels.
2020.
The year so
it came out in 2011, Vanessa.
But 2020 is the year so twice, we named it twice.
That's true. It is the year so twice, we named it twice. Now, I've noticed there's a variety of body styles in Dragon Age Origins for men. And there's two body styles for women. There is dwarf woman and not dwarf woman.
Yep.
How many other dwarf women do you meet, though?
Your mom.
Well, my mom.
Your sister.
Yeah, but who, in your story,
I haven't
at
met
this
any
point, have you met any
women.
dwarves at all?
Yes. Well, in this chunker, I meet a male dwarf, Dino, or whatever his name is.
Oh, the guy in the town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, Sandal and Bohdan. But no ladies, no dwarf ladies. Every other, I think you meet more elf ladies than elf men at this point.
Because everyone loves an elf lady. We know it's true.
It's true. Every Dragon Age cover song was I was looking up different Dragon Age cover songs, and they're all done by Russian women dressed like elves.
It was very strange. And they were all in the woods in their elf costumes, singing their Dragon Age song.
Well, it's really interesting. Oh, you go ahead first.
They were good. I mean, they had good elf costumes and they sang good songs, but it was very odd.
And I've noticed, just from YouTube, Dragon Age seems very popular with women.
It is. This is a lady game for ladies.
Ooh, but what is it? Then why is it, I think, maybe one of my favorite games we've done?
Because you're gay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right.
Can't argue with those facts.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil, like, final judgments on this game, but I'm really having fun. It's really super fun. So, anyway, back to the game. We barely started. We talked to the king. He is going to meet up with his advisors later, and then Duncan tells you to go have the tour of the camp. And
one of the things I like about this game is that, you're told to, Duncan's going to go to where he's going to go, and you're told in the meantime you can go talk to the people in the camp. You don't have to. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can just follow Duncan to where he's going to go and go talk to him. I don't recommend that, obviously, because you're missing a lot of world building and a couple side quests like indicators, but you don't have to do any of it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The first thing I did was there's a lady giving a sermon at before the battle, and she was like blessing everybody, and so I stood up on the stage next to her and gave my own sermon about elf gods, because you can't just be all human stuff. And I tried talking to the lady, and she's like, I'm in the middle of something. She didn't like that very much.
But did you actually have dialogue options, or did you just stand up there?
I just talked to myself. I was actually streaming it. If you want to go on twitch.tv/JohnnyBarnstorm, you can watch me play Dragon Age.
I don't think we've mentioned that the protagonist in this game is silent, but not in like a Gordon Freeman way where he never says anything and just stands there, in a way that they're just not voiced. Well, it's strange. They're voiced for certain things.
Mm-hmm. They're voiced for battle dialogue and like adventure dialogue.
Yeah. And also responding to the player sometimes. Like when you click open a door, sometimes my character says, "It will be done." Mm-hmm. And it's like, are you aware of me? Like, does my character know that I'm controlling her?
Mine gets sassy about battles. Sometimes she's like, "Oh, that was too easy," or "We did not do well there."
You can choose different voices that I think have different little sayings that they'll do.
I chose Sassy Lady.
I chose Mystical.
Oh.
What about you, Jim?
I don't remember. She's pretty gruff.
Ooh, yeah, I think there's like a gruff lady or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But, during dialogue trees, your character doesn't say nothing.
My character yells at me a lot in battle because I press the fight command. Like, I just tap the button sometimes, and she yells at me and says, "Do you need a ladder to get off my back?"
Oh.
Like, she says that all the time.
Golly. So she's definitely aware of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little strange.
Yeah. I thought I had to press the button each time I wanted her to attack, but
no, you do not.
You just got to hit it once, and she'll just keep doing it.
Yeah. So she had a point.
Yeah,
it's true.
I'm not going to stop it.
So there's some people you need to talk. Well, you don't need to. There's some people you can talk to. There's Daveth, who is a rogue. He is from Denerim, the streets of Denerim. He was caught pickpocketing. I think, was that it? He was pickpocketing a Grey Warden, and Duncan caught him because he's a fast old man. Mm-hmm. And then said, instead of getting arrested, why don't you come join us?
Yep.
And then there's...
Well,
you go ahead.
Oh, I forget his name, so I won't be very good at it. Sir Baldy.
Ser Jory.
Sir Jory.
Jory.
Is he the whiny, my wife just had a baby guy?
Yeah.
Yes. And his name is a pun because he's a doctor and likes to perform surgery.
What?
Oh.
It is not. I made that up.
I was like, oh, that's clever.
Yeah, he's a night guy, and wouldn't he be someone you know? Or he's from that area, right?
Not somebody my character.
No, not you. Sorry.
Me?
Yeah, isn't he from Redcliffe or Environ?
I don't know. I don't know him.
Oh, don't know him.
Maybe he's a little too low class. Yes.
Oh, but he's a Ser. He's like a noble. He's a noble knight that is like excited to be part of the Grey Wardens, and
knights are a dime a dozen.
I don't think Duncan was like super forthright. How do you say it? Forthright?
Yes.
Yeah.
With
forthcoming.
him. Yeah, about this stuff, because he seems to think he can like go back to his family and have a normal life, and I don't think he could do any of those things.
No, I don't think he ever could, even if what happens to him had not happened, but we'll get to that. Mm-hmm. There's also my favorite character, Naked Man in a Cage.
Oh, yeah.
Why is there a naked man in a cage? I miss this.
I guess he's a go-go dancer?
No. Why is he covered in blood? That is my question.
Well, he's a deserter, or at least they think he's a deserter.
So it's like a raspberry sauce or something?
No, I think he probably got beaten. Oh. Because he was caught sneaking around camp, and you can say, well, are you a deserter? And he's like, no. I mean, I probably would have deserted eventually, but that's not what I was doing that night. And anyway, he's super hungry. Because he has not gotten any food or water. So you can talk to the guard and persuade him to give up some of his lunch for the prisoner, which I did. Because, as a noble, I certainly believe in capital punishment and torture of the peasants. But I think they should be treated well up until the point where you capital punish them.
Is there any other ways of handling this particular side quest other than getting food from the guard? Can you steal food from the guard or anything?
I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if I could maybe pick the lock on the cage and let him out. You can certainly just tell him to starve and go to hell. I did not go that route. But as for other options, none that I discovered.
Jim, did you feed this man? I fed this man.
I missed this side quest.
He's got a key, because I asked him why I would do that. He's like, well, I have this key to a magic chest. Would you like it? And I said, oh, sure.
Why would where does that naked man have that key?
He tells you.
Oh, does he?
It is up his butt.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got the key from him.
Oh, you have to not agree to feed him first.
Oh, I just agreed right away.
Yeah.
Seemed like the right thing to do.
Well, it's a tasty way to do it.
Yeah.
So, your other favorite man is up north over by the conference room table.
And who would that be?
It would be, what's the name of this haircut? The one with the little poof, the little taint poof up?
The pompadour?
It's not a pompadour. It's just like a little bit flat at the front. It was everyone had that haircut in 2002.
Mm-hmm. The David Boreanaz in Angel.
Yes. Yeah, the David Boreanaz. So there's a man with red hair, a David Boreanaz style haircut. He is in armor, and he is happy to see you. His name is Alistair. And he is sassy from the start.
He is a quick-witted man.
He sure is.
Mm-hmm.
Voiced by television Steve Valentine.
Really? We've never heard about this guy before.
Have you not?
I hear that he's a magician, and he's in everyone's favorite TV show, Smell of Crime.
His State of Panic.
Right.
Friend of the show, Mr. Valentine.
Steve Valentine.
He was in Resident Evil 1 as the girl.
Is
Jill
that true?
Valentine.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, I was just making a silly joke, because her name's Jill Valentine.
Oh. I was like, was this guy in the Resident Evil movie?
I wish.
I've seen that movie too many times.
Oh, no.
And then she slow motion kicks a zombie dog.
And that guy gets totally shredded by that laser system. Remember that part?
Well, yeah, like half the cast of the movie dies in that scene.
That's true.
He was in Uncharted 2 as the voice of Harry.
Oh, Harry, the brother of Uncharted.
No.
Harry's not Uncharted's brother?
No. Uncharted's brother shows up in like 4.
Yeah,
oh no,
and
Harry's
his name
Uncharted's
is something
former
else.
partner.
Yeah, his former partner.
I thought that was like Sal.
No, that's Uncharted's
Sully.
partner.
Oh, right.
Sully's his current partner. Harry is his former partner, I think, but now I can't remember what the brother's name is, so I'm worried I'm confused.
His brother's name is Sam.
Oh, you're right.
Sam
right.
Uncharted.
So Harry is definitely former cohort, currently at the start of Uncharted, in cahoots with Chloe to rob a museum.
Also,
Everything goes
Zoran
great.
Lazarevich.
Ooh.
Yes,
Spoiler
secretly in league with Zoran Lazarevich.
And we'll get back to that with our Uncharted chat later in 2035, where we'll play through every
30. We played it dirty.
Oh boy. So Alistair, he's a former Templar. He's very sassy. He's become a Grey Warden. He's already been joined. He's done the joining. He's already tasted the taint, which we'll get back to
What?
in a bit. And you try to ask him for clues about what's going to happen. He's like, sorry, I can't tell you that. I'd like to.
That's not what he sounds like. He sounds like, sorry, I can't tell you that.
No, he's like sillier. So he's like, sorry, can't tell you that. Oh.
Nah, he's not that silly. He's like, Vanessa, your eyes are so blue.
Yeah, I really like Alistair. He is a fun character to have in your party. He always has quips and things to say, and he's entertaining. He's also
an interesting character, like, for what he is, which is sort of the, gingerbread hero type.
Yeah, he could have easily been like just your standard white bread, quippy guy, but he's actually pretty deeply written, which was kind of surprising.
Yeah, he's not your Nathan Drake. He's a bit more interesting than that.
He is not your Uncharted.
Yeah. There's also a sick pupper, and he's kind of new to being a pupper. It's a real pupper. He's a big muscle dog. And this guy's like, hey, can you go talk to that pupper? Are you good with dogs? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I go pet the dog, and he's like, but the dog really needs some flowers to be ground up because it's real sick. Could you do that if you happen to go out to the Kakari Wilds? And I said, sure.
So
why wouldn't you want to help
this
Mabari warhound?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're a cat person.
Oh,
that's true.
It's a sick animal.
Oh, he just needs your help. Your little puppy.
He's going to die if you don't help him.
Yeah. Did you not help the puppy?
I did.
I didn't know he was going to be a party member. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't get this cutscene. And it may be because I already have a dog.
Oh. You already have a dog in your party?
Yeah, I got my dog from last time. I told you all about my super cool dog. It's my dog.
What'd you name him?
Jaster.
Oh.
Jaster?
Jaster.
I named my dog Fluffo-Twan.
I named my dog Todd.
That's a beautiful name.
Todd the dog?
Yeah.
So after that, you've talked to pretty much everyone. You can get some backstory from people about stuff if you want to do that. Or you can go talk to Duncan, and he's like, well, before we depart on our next stage of the adventure and do the joining, you'll have to get 3 phials of darkspawn blood.
Ew.
Yes, so, Davith, Jory, Alistair, go on a little adventure to the Kakari Wilds.
I liked this part, the Kakari Wilds.
Do you like my little man bun?
I didn't like his little man bun.
It's very stylish. For an older man, I am quite hip and trendy.
I guess he is trendier than Alistair, who's still rocking the 2002.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Although I think man buns are kind of going out of fashion.
Thank God for that.
I thought on some guys they're cute. I think.
generally carry a pair of scissors with me, but if I did, it would be, well, first the rat tails of the world. I would seek those out, find every boy in 5th grade across America, and snippy snap their stupid rat tails off, or those like
5th
even
grade,
the younglings.
Hold on, 5th grade? What self-respecting 5th grader has a rat tail? If you don't cut off your rat tail by the end of 3rd grade,
you deserve to be snippy snapped by me.
You deserve to be snipped, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
All Jedi younglings have rat tails.
Yeah, there's like Jedi youngling things and that like just random bit of long hair that they braid that just hangs off their head. That's gonna go. But after all of those are taken care of, man bun, you're next.
Okay.
Unless you're wearing a man bun for cultural or religious reasons. And by cultural, I mean a real culture, not like the coffee shop.
Wow.
I'm a writer sitting on my laptop all day.
Dang.
Man. All right, Vanessa. So, we head out to the Kokari Wilds, and while we're there, he also asked if we could find a chest, which should still be there and sealed, with some papers that are super important, and he totally forgotten the chest for 300 years.
Yeah. It's like, go to the filing cabinet where these documents have been for 300 years and get them.
Yeah. So you head out there. The first thing you see are all these warriors that are strung up. And I didn't get a cutscene because I went the wrong way, but there is apparently a cutscene about it.
I don't remember there being a cutscene, but I remember, I think it was Sir Jory who absolutely freaked out.
Yeah, that didn't happen to me.
No, I just had Alistair being like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, one of them, I think it was Sir Jory, was absolutely terrified about this.
Yeah. Sir Jory needs to calm down.
He was real
slow his roll.
You also get pretty immediately attacked by some darkspawn.
And wolves.
And wolves.
Lots of wolves.
Mm-hmm. I also found a guy who was injured.
Oh, yeah. He was pretty far gone. He was real bloody, but we help him up and, like, give him a potion or something, right?
Yeah, I gave him some bandages and sent him on his way. There was an option to escort him back to camp, but
no way.
He wasn't that far. I think he can make it.
Did you guys do any of the other side quests that were in the wilds?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
There was the mage, or there's an elf letter or a mage letter about like a hidden cache of supplies.
I think that he was a Templar or something, wasn't he? He was out with his son. I know that.
Yes, yeah. I thought he was a mage, but he could have been a Templar, yeah.
Well, you find the son, and the son is dead, and the son has a letter that's like, "Dear son, please come meet me at this spot." And then you go to that spot, and the dad's there, and he's dead. And he has a letter, and it says, "Dear son, just in case I'm dead, here's where I hid the treasure."
And I just found that it has quest instructions on how to get it, which is like, go to this thing and walk down that way. But there's just a path you can walk down, and so I just got there accidentally.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the wilds are not big.
No.
It's not an issue to explore them all.
It's
what you find in the chest is, I mentioned earlier, there's a little detail that really made me appreciate the quality of the game. And in the chest is a sword, and it was, I think, the first weapon I'd encountered in the game up to this point where the sword had a special name.
That was the Oath Keeper, I think?
No, this was the something else. It was one of those hyphenated names. Or not hyphenated, but had the apostrophe in it. But that's always to me, like a little, a nice little mark of quality. They put some effort into naming a lot of these weapons that someone will probably use for like 45 minutes before they sell it.
Or give it to a character they don't like.
Yeah, or give it to some junk character.
Hey, Leliana, you can have this dumb sword.
How dare you? There are no junk characters.
So then, you can find his treasure trove. You can get the flowers, which are just off in like a little corner. These are like BioWare style maps, so they're not super big. This is like Knights of the Old Republic and Mass Effect, like not super huge levels.
Yeah.
I think it's not until Inquisition and Andromeda that they get really big. And you get to the main thing is just defeating groups of darkspawn, so you get the files of blood. And then at the end, you find this chest that's supposed to be still sealed after all these years, but it has been opened and the documents are gone. And you get this lady walking through the ruins with a little scrap of fabric, so you get lots of side boob. And she's very, very,
lots of side boob.
She's super skinny. Very, very skinny, which is fine. You know, hey, we all got bodies.
Yeah. She's malnourished.
I wish that Matthew was on this episode because we, you know, us co-hosts, we've known Matthew a good long while. We all know Matthew has a type, and this is Matthew's type.
It definitely is, because she's very mean and superior, and
she's got that kind of emo look about her.
Yeah.
She's got some severe eyeshadow and eyeliner.
She has not really a shirt. I mean, you can't really say that she's wearing a shirt.
She's wearing like a dickie.
A dickie, sort of a dickie, but like a dickie with most of the dickie missing.
Right.
I call it like a necklace. It's like a cloth necklace.
It is. It's like what's the word? I can't even remember. But it's the thing that's, you know, those rope things they used to hang plants. It's like one of those that's draped around her neck.
It does have like a little bikini string tie in the back, I think. And she has a string of pearls, but at least in the game that I'm playing, they're very flat. So they're not rendered like 3D. It looks like she's just wearing like a cardboard cutout of a string of pearls or something like that. And she sasses you right away. She says, "You're here to steal my documents, aren't you?"
And she is voiced by one of my favorite game voice actors,
Steve Valentine?
Claudia Black.
Oh.
Who's that?
She was in, do you ever play the game Uncharted Lost Legacy?
I have.
She's Chloe.
Oh, that's where I recognize that voice. She's Uncharted's ex-girlfriend.
Exactly.
She's also in Uncharted 2 with Harry.
Exactly. And she is
also in Uncharted 3.
In Destiny as the paid shopkeeper that sells you paid stuff like dances and emotes and stuff. And she's in Farscape, the TV show, as the hot lady. I don't know if you've ever seen Farscape. It's like Babylon 5, but with Muppets.
Did you say Muppets?
Yeah, it's actual Jim Henson Creature Studio stuff.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's not a bad show. It
has a sci-fi show.
It's an Australian show.
No.
But it's some parts are really good and some parts I think that show has uneven quality, but there's some very good episodes. And I really like her. She's very sassy. She's very dark. She plays like smart, kind of evil woman very well. And it's a role she plays a lot. And she is Morrigan. And Morrigan says that, hey, the documents have been long gone, except that they were taken by her mother. And Alistair is like, hey, aren't you like a witch of the wild? Which some people have been talking about outside in the Ostagar camp. They're like scary. They're legends told to frighten children. And yeah,
she doesn't take kindly to him.
No, because he calls her an apostate.
Yeah, she is. I mean, she technically is an apostate.
Only if you buy into that belief system.
I don't know if we've talked that much about it in Matt's story there, but mages who are not part of the circle and controlled by the tower are illegal. And there's a whole group of people called Templars that are set out to kill mages that have not been, or either bring them to the circle or kill them, especially if they're blood mages. So non-registered mages are bad, and she is one of those.
Yeah. When we meet Alistair, he's sort of having some quips with a mage, and then he explains that he used to be a Templar, So it's sort of insulting that he was sent to go get this mage, but he thinks that the Chantry mother did it on purpose to, like, dig at the mage because Templars hunt mages.
Mm-hmm. They don't super get along.
No, they're sort of their prison guards.
And Morrigan sort of says, well, do you want my help or do you want me to leave you here without your precious documents?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go with her eventually.
Yep, I was very polite to Morrigan.
Oh, I like her. I was like, hey. I'm playing my super friendly, likes everyone, super trusting lady. So she's like, oh, you seem fun.
I'm playing my character as if she can't quite shake decorum because, she's noble. That's how she was raised. Mm-hmm. So it's like, even in situations where maybe she doesn't want to say please to meet you, she does.
Oh, that's nice.
It's drilled into her.
How did your lady like Morrigan there, Jim?
I kind of treated her very skeptically at first. Because I wanted to get the documents and go back to the camp. Mm-hmm. But, warmed up to her eventually.
So she brings her to her mother's house, which is like a little witch, what do you call it? Hovel? A little, It's actually a nice little cabin inside. But it's just like a little house made of sticks, a hut. And, right outside you meet this gray-haired lady who sounds like Commander Janeway.
And not by coincidence, because she is in fact voiced by Kate Mulgrew.
Yay!
Yay!
And I think might be one of the best characters in the series.
In the series of Star Trek, I agree.
Well, sure, but I also mean in the series of Dragon Age.
Oh, I see.
Because I quite like her.
Yeah, me too.
She's interesting. You don't get to learn. I mean, you can talk to her for a while here, but it's not until you come back that you really get you can like get all the info you ever wanted to know about her. But she just says, I've got these documents. You can have them. We just kept them safe because we knew they would be important one day.
Mm-hmm. She is a character who continues to have importance throughout the series. So, remember the name Flemeth. You heard it here first.
Flemeth.
That's a good name.
Makes me think about Flemish. That's my other level up. I found out I'm white.
Super white.
Yeah. Like 99.
Did you expect anything different?
No. But it is interesting because my Finnish side of the family is immigrated fairly recently, like in the last century, not this century, but the century before. But we don't have records of where exactly they came from, but the DNA test really narrowed it down to a specific region where most people seem to share our DNA. And that's from Finnish people I've talked with, that lines right up with what they've said about the family surname, and they're like, oh yeah, most of them live here.
How much how much does a 23andMe cost?
I don't know, because it was a Christmas gift, and I think they were doing like 50% off for Black Friday or something.
Oh, wow.
Are you worried that if you decide later on to become a serial killer, this information could be used against you?
No, because I'm already fingerprinted in both my state and the federal database.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're a felon.
Right.
Because I'm a felon.
So, you get these documents back to Duncan, and Duncan says, all right, now it's time for us to start this joining that I've been talking about. Are you ready, Jim?
Why do you voice Duncan like the guy from Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous?
I'm trying to go, because he sort of does an Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's sort of the accent I think he's going for, but I can't quite do an Obi-Wan Kenobi myself. Oh. So, Jim, are you ready to taste the taint?
What?
The dark spawn taint.
Are you ready to
what?
submit to the taint?
Yes, he literally does say submit to the taint more than once.
He is obsessed with the taint. You're going to drink the taint. You're going to taste the taint. The taint is what makes the Grey Wardens the Grey Wardens. The taint is between a hard place and a dark cavern.
Yeah, apparently you drink the blood of the darkspawn, and if it doesn't kill you, then you get like a mental link with you get the ability to sense the darkspawn, and you get to like understand or like experience the orders from the archdemon as they do.
You become tainted.
Makes you a little bit darkspawn, and then you get like a psychic link with the darkspawn, and it's a super secret thing. So once you've agreed to become a Grey Warden, there is no backing out. Even at this point, it is too late to back out. You are gonna drink that taint juice. You're gonna gulp the taint sweat down and really just guzzle it.
What happens, Sir Jory, if you decide to not submit to the taint?
Well, first you get to see what happens if your body isn't quite ready for the taint. If you can't handle the taint, like Daveth can't, you just choke and die.
Yeah, but he choked on the taint.
He got all that taint in his mouth and just collapsed. It was too much. Too much taint.
Could not take it.
No.
Couldn't taint it.
No. Sarah, and I have a great screenshot of this. Sarah Jury, while watching Daveth just totally get murdified by the taint, is like, I gotta go, guys.
Sir Jory was already having some doubts, and this does nothing to assuage them.
Sir Jory was not super, Sir Jory's, he wasn't dealing well with the Darkspawn in the first place. He was really freaked out. And now seeing Daveth die just breaks him. He says he has a wife and kids and has to go back to them. Like so many coworkers that can't do overtime. And decides to split. Unfortunately, Duncan doesn't take this very well.
Oh, look at our notes. There's cat typing on there.
There are?
Yeah.
Where's the cat type? Oh, whoa.
Cat wants to say 7600.
All right. So, Vanessa, what happens to Sir Jory?
Oh, well, Sir George decides he don't want to do it. And he pulls out his sword and he is waving it around. And Duncan, calmly approaches him and he's like, listen, buddy, I get it. You don't want to do it, but, thank you for your sacrifice.
You have to drink this radioactive blood.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So Duncan sort of reluctantly pulls out his own sword and stabs him in the stomach.
Now, when you say reluctantly, how reluctant do you think he really was in this scenario?
Not very. He didn't try to talk him out of his decision or anything like that, or even warn him, well, you need to drink it or I'm going to stab you.
Right.
He just stabs him and he's like, thanks for your sacrifice. Thanks for your service to the Grey Wardens.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah, I killed you.
So, why couldn't Jory leave?
I guess because he would tell people.
And do you think people wouldn't become Grey Wardens if they knew they had to drink Darkspawn blood and kind of get super cursed and tainted?
There's probably a stigma. There'd probably be a stigma if people knew that the Dark or the Grey Wardens were drinking Darkspawn blood.
So they are doing the ceremony, like, okay, on the outskirts of the camp, but they're still, like, at this super populated camp. What if someone was walking by and was like, hey, guys, I've got some orange juice here. I've got some extra. Do you guys want some orange juice? And then Duncan looks and says, you chose the wrong time to pass by. And then just garrots them.
Orange juice, though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be like mead or...
Oh, sorry. I've got some extra mead for you here. Anyone want some mead? And
you guys want some sunny delight?
Duncan says, today won't be a sunny delight for you, I'm afraid.
Oh, no.
Or someone's like, have you heard the good word about Andraste? No, there are only bad words of death. So, does he just have a pile of bodies? What does he do with Jory?
Nothing, I guess. I don't know. It's not really addressed. It's probably just
probably just turns into a skeleton in 5 to 10 seconds like the rest of the bodies you leave on the field.
Duncan is a murderer.
Well, he gets his in a minute. Right?
So now everyone is super psyched about this battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody's ready. There's this big Darkspawn battle coming up.
Mm-hmm. And
like the camp is going to get sieged.
Yeah, you can see like in the horizon just like miles and miles of Darkspawn who are intelligent enough to be carrying torches.
Yeah, they're not animals. They wear clothes and they have torches and weapons and things like that.
It's a bit like the orcs from Lord of the Rings.
It's very much like the orcs from Lord of the Rings. In fact, I thought about Lord of the Rings a lot during this cutscene.
Yeah.
Me too, actually.
So they do the old like battle by the two lines facing each other and like growling at each other, and the king is right there at the head of the line and tells the archers to start firing, and then the monsters start charging. The dogs are released. It's all very armily. But you aren't going to be part of this. You are going to go to the tower.
They told you to hang back because you need to light a beacon at this tower to give an indicator to how do you pronounce this guy's name?
Logain.
To give a signal to Logain's troops to flank the army.
Mm-hmm. Which is a very special job that only super strong boys or girls can do.
Yeah.
You're great.
You're the lookout.
Yeah, this is a really important job there, Vanessa.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm happy to go light that beacon.
Yeah, because you're a very special girl.
This is like what they make Pippin do in the third Lord of the Rings.
Pippin is a hero.
So yeah, we're going when we are ready for Logain to attack. We signal him with this flare, I guess, from the signal tower on the Tower of Ishal. And so we head out on over there as the battle begins.
Yeah, Alistair's a little bit grouchy about this, but
I think he recognizes it's a crap assignment.
He wants to be a battle boy.
My junior warden was just like, sure thing, whatever you need me to do, got it.
Yeah, I was like, hey, whatever's going to move this game along.
Yes. So you head out there, and it looks like right away the battle seems to be a little tougher than they imagined before. And also, I don't know if you you talked to someone in like the wounded barracks, someone who met the Darkspawn early, but he's like, you're all going to die. There are way more than you think. This is a real blight. This isn't just a little scuffle. And you're all going to die. As you walk, this is a pretty neat sequence. As you walk across the parapets, I don't know, is that the word for it?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like giant rocks being thrown by monsters. I guess they have like catapults and
maybe
things like that.
They're throwing them.
Yeah. And they start like everything's disintegrating and people are dying as you walk by. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. At one point, my character got knocked down, but she got up again.
Oh.
Good for her.
You're never gonna keep her down.
No.
Then you get to the next area, and there's a knight and an archer that need your help, and you can rescue, and they'll join you up, even though they're like named Tower Guard 1 and Tower Guard 2. But you need a full party, because this gets pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it?
Well, okay. It does if you're playing on hard.
I'm playing on easy.
So, things are not going well. And everyone's, like, even the tower is being rushed. And there weren't supposed to be Darkspawn there, but the grounds are full of Darkspawn, and the tower is totally full of Darkspawn. Everyone's, like, rushing out of it because Darkspawn somehow broke in through the ground.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, oh no, this isn't good.
It's not good.
We're sure screwed here.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops-a-doodle.
But for you're strong and good enough to help and save the day. So you save these 2 tower guards. They join you as you climb up the 4 levels of the tower. It's kind of tricky. Okay, once again, for me, it was kind of tricky. Like, you get some, like, your first mage in the bottom floor.
Yeah, I made a new best friend. His name is Tower Mage.
Oh, I didn't get... Oh, yeah, you're right. No, I got an archer and a mage. That's right. Not a archer and a knight. Yeah, Tower Mage helps, but I mean, there's a bad guy mage, for me at least, in the bottom floor. And he's tricky and was, like, casting spells on me.
How dare he?
At this point, like, I had to use a lot of tactics, like, keep back, let Alistair I made Alistair use a bow, and have everyone kind of stand back and pick off enemies Bard's Tale style, which works a little bit. I definitely use the environment to my benefit. Like, the next floor up, there's these dogs that are chained up, and you can let them go and help you with the fight. And after the fight...
Can we take what John just said and make that regular, like, square roots lexicon, Bard's Tale style? Whenever we talk about doing something cool, we say Bard's Tale style.
No, there's no better descriptor.
Kiting enemies, where you get, like, picking them off from the edges of the groups instead of fighting them on screen.
Right.
Yeah. So the next floor is dogs. And you can take there's these battle dogs that are in cages. You can let them out, and they will fight alongside you.
Mm-hmm. There's big O sort of crossbow things, too, that you can shoot at them.
I didn't see that doing anything.
Baristas?
Yeah, the ballistas. Baristas.
Barista makes people who make coffee.
Here, we'll make bad coffee to poison them. You free the baristas.
No foam for you.
So there's some, like, rooms to search with chests, but I didn't have anyone who had unlocky skills. I guess Jim did, right?
No.
Oh, I did.
You did.
Because I'm a warrior.
Right.
I'm the rogue.
How was being
My character is
unlucky?
A polite noble who hates locked doors and chests.
So I couldn't.
It was
open
fine.
these.
I didn't find anything great, but it satisfied me to be able to open it.
There's what I would do is every time I would encounter more enemies on the floor with the dogs, it would be I would encounter them and then run back to the dogs, and they'd follow me, and the dogs would kill them. And you also see when you get in the tower, there's big holes where the darkspawn came in.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So that's how they came in.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, boy.
Big gaping holes.
All right. So at the
big holes that the darkspawn came in
are square roots. On the top floor, there is a grumpy, toothsome ogre man.
Yeah, he real big.
Yeah, this was cool.
Biggin.
This was the first beating this guy was the first time I noticed the death animations.
Yeah. Which I didn't get. It didn't trigger for me. It only happens sometimes.
It triggered for me in the death of this ogre, where one of the characters I was with jumped up onto his chest and plunged their sword into him, which was pretty cool.
So,
yeah, Alistair did the death blow in my party.
I killed it with magic with the mage, so it just died.
Oh.
So in your game, Jim, are you playing with that kind of Mass Effect right behind the back angle?
It's a little bit further away than that.
Do you switch characters often, or are you sticking with?
No, I only switch characters when I have to when my main dies, which has only happened a couple of times.
What about you, Vanessa? Do you play from the top-down Baldur's Gate style, or like the behind the back?
Only if it gets very chaotic on screen will I pause the game and take a look at it from the top down and sort of organize my party. But usually I'm playing it like an action RPG, which it isn't really, but you can sort of trick the camera into thinking it is.
Yeah, it's sort of, you can play it either way. You can let it like hammer buttons, and I mean, you don't hammer attack, but
Yeah. But you can pause it and queue up attacks at any time. So you can sort of play it like a turn-based game too, but you just decide when the turns are.
That is the only way I can play it. Except when I was playing against the ogre, he was going after my mage because my mage was like disorienting him and stunning him. And so the ogre isn't as fast as my mage. So it was just running around the tower while the other fighters attacked him. It was pretty fun. And that is the strategy to not get killed.
Yeah.
Because I
took this guy down pretty quick. He was going after Alistair, and I was able to get behind him and do a lot of damage.
Alistair, you can get him a move pretty quickly that lets him taunt enemies and bring them towards him, which is useful. But the ogre has this really cool animation where he picks up one of your guys and just like squishes him and then throws him on the ground and usually kills him.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. And
But we kill him and we light the signal fire and save the day.
It took me about 5 minutes to light that signal fire because I couldn't remember where it was. And it's not super obvious.
Walking around trying to light anything on fire.
Yeah, because everyone's like, you need to light it. We have to light it. What are you doing? Light the signal. But it's just like tiny, especially if you're looking at it from a top-down view, it's just like a tiny sliver of wood that you have to click on. And if you can easily miss it.
And it works perfectly. Logain sees the signal, flanks the enemy, and the day is won.
No.
End of game. Oh.
When Logain was talking before about the plan, he's kind of like twiddled his mustache a little bit. He's like, yes, things will go exactly as I want, or something like that. I don't know. He seemed, there's a lot of interpretations of these events, but, he doesn't respond to that signal. He orders a retreat.
What?
And
what?
It could
the
be
whole
that
plan was that he was going to respond to the signal.
His story is that he saw they were outnumbered and would have been killed, and that's why he didn't go down. And also that the Grey Wardens betrayed the king or something. We'll get there. But yeah, he orders a retreat, and then the king's troops and the Grey Wardens are overrun.
You know, one thing that I don't understand about this particular plot turn is that it makes it sound like Logain was the only person who could see what was going on in the battlefield and ordered a retreat, and then because that's what happened is he kind of made up a story, retreated, and then like propagated that story to anyone who would listen. There's like thousands of people who saw what was going on and that they could have done it, and everybody still believes him. Yeah, but he was
like the commander. Mm-hmm. So maybe they think that he's a brilliant strategist and he must have known.
And it's really the only people that survived the battle were his troops and a couple of scragglers, because almost everyone in the king's forces were killed.
Yeah, we get a pretty gory cutscene about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're fighting all the Darkspawn, and then Duncan is sort of near King Kaelin. Mm-hmm. And his spidey sense goes off, and he sees a big hulking orc, like the one we fought, coming towards the king. And that orc just pick up Kaelin and squish him. He sort of just like gives him a squeeze until he pops.
Uh-huh. It's a real gross squeeze.
Yeah, it's not a friendly hug.
No. And Kaelin is dead, and Duncan's still kind of alive. He gets, like, stabbed in the gut.
He's not doing well.
And he's trying to crawl towards the king, but doesn't make it. There's nothing he can really do.
No. And the last thing we see is, from his perspective, a axe coming down towards his face.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, what happens on the tower?
Go boom.
Why go boom? Dragon?
Yes. Was it a dragon?
I don't know.
Was it?
I don't know what happened. That's why I'm asking, because I
don't know either. There's a part in your notes that I don't remember happening either.
Which part?
The part about being saved by a giant bird.
Oh, well.
I don't remember that happening.
You don't.
That's what they claim.
You don't see what happened. But don't you kind of, like, you're being overrun.
Well, I think that you don't really know what happens.
Isn't
that the case?
I don't know. Is that maybe that is the case.
Yeah, it must be, because none of us know what happened.
Okay. Because you just wake up at Morrigan's house after lighting the signal fire.
Yeah, if something happens, then we wake up at Morrigan's house, as you said.
And Morrigan says that she wasn't the one that saved you. It was her mom.
Yep. And you can say, how? And she says, oh, she turned into a giant bird and carried you and your friend, one in each claw, away. She doesn't mention the dog. So I guess the dog, like, hopped on the bird's back or something like that?
That's a very Lord of the Rings plot device, the being saved by the giant eagles.
Right.
Yeah, but then she also immediately indicates that that's not true. She's like, you can ask my mom about it yourself, and she might even tell you the truth.
Her mom says the same thing. She turned into a bird.
Yep. That's what they claim.
Yep. And, yeah, you can talk for basically hours at this point with Morrigan and her mom and find out all about them, find out all about what happened. Basically, nothing good. You've been out for weeks or days.
I think a few days. Alistair is super depressed because everyone he knows is dead, essentially.
Right.
And his father figure, Duncan, is dead.
Right.
And you can make fun of him for that or console him.
What did you do?
I consoled him, of course.
Ah. Yeah, and you can find out. Yeah, you find out what happened, and they say that nothing good happened. Loghain returned to Denerim and is now acting as king, or like regent, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, because he's the mother of the king's... I'm sorry, the father of the king's widow.
And, I talked to Morrigan about having a weird relationship with her mom and asking if her mom's her real mom, all sorts of personal stuff. And I talked to Flemeth about being a witch of the wilds, and she sort of tells you a little bit about her life and how she got there. She didn't used to always be a witch. She was a lady before. She was human at one point, but stuff happened.
There's this whole story that she goes into that I just did not have the attention span to hang out for.
I think does she tell you that there, or is that at the camp where she talks about her mom? But basically Morrigan's never really left the wild. She's gone up to Lothering on the outskirts, but never really been inside. She's only lived with her mom. And, apparently, you do remember that witch is supposed to have sisters, but she doesn't really know them or anything about that.
I had a great moment when I was talking with Alistair when I was consoling him, where he asks me if I've ever lost anyone, and I responded with the dialogue, well, my whole family was just murdered. And he's like, oh, right, I forgot about that. It's like, you forgot about that? Come on.
Isn't he also from Redcliffe?
He was raised there as a little baby boy before he was sent to live with the Templars.
So, but you've never met him before?
Alistair? I sure have met him.
I mean, in the game.
My character's not from Redcliffe. I don't know why you keep saying that.
I thought, didn't you have something to do with the Arl of Redcliffe in your beginning? Oh, well, never mind then. I'm sorry.
I am from the Kuzlin family.
And now you are ready to go. And Alistair suggests you go to Lothering because it's like the next stop on the way. And you can go from there. You can figure out what to do. You have to have a plan. You've got all these documents. You can make people honor their Grey Warden treaties because they all say they're going to, if there's a blight, the elves and the dwarves and everyone are going to help out.
I mean, that's the thrust of the game at this point, is getting these disparate, clans or groups to honor their centuries-old allegiances to the Grey Wardens. So that's really what you're tasked with doing, is figuring out how to make that happen.
It's kind of like a Pokemon. You got to catch all of them.
Mm-hmm. There's the dwarves and the Dalish and the human nobles and the whoever else.
It's a bit like the BioWare kind of structure is you get the opening stuff and then it opens up with like 3 things to do. And then you get like something happens and then there's another 3 things to do and then it's the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's kind of the BioWare game design.
It is the way.
Yep. So this is the part where, well, first you go to Lothering, and then you get the part with the 3 things to do.
Yeah. Lothering is fun. There's a lot of stuff to do here.
You're greeted. On the way, I met a puppy. The puppy that I saved.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah, and he like...
Once again, I already had the dog, but I did deliver the flower to that guy.
That's good. Well, this puppy wanted to be besties with me, and then you get attacked. And
oh no, by the puppy?
No, by Darkspawn. And I like the puppy, but I don't find him super useful in battle.
Battle dog. I agree. He's a bad, tall dog.
I just kind of wish it could be like an extra set of moves for you, like not take up a character slot. Because I want the dog with me at all times.
Oh, like a special attack, you could sick the dog on him.
Yeah, or that maybe like you have to have an ability active to keep the dog around, like as a sort of a companion. But I think as a character, it doesn't really work.
The dog did, I mean, I'm playing on easy, but the dog did pretty good in my party. He's not in there now, but he did a pretty good job.
Oh.
Yeah. I think the trouble with dog for me is that dog just love you unconditionally, essentially. And I like having the other characters with me because they will often approve or disapprove of what I do. And it just seems a little bit more rich, I guess.
Sure.
Dog doesn't
stakes.
react to things. Dog doesn't have things to say. A dog doesn't have reaction shots, even.
Yeah.
There's no, like, shot of the dog going,
Yeah. Dog disapproves.
Dog attacks lady for no reason.
I like the campfire scenes with the dog. Like, one of the first ones is you go to talk to the dog and it's trying to bite Alistair. That's great.
A lot of them involve Alistair trying to get the dog on his side, and the dog just is not having it.
Yeah.
So when you get to Lothering, there's a group of bandits asking you to pay them a toll, because there's a lot of refugees from Ferelden going through Lothering.
I have been pumping a lot of points into persuasion for my character. So I managed to persuade these bandits not to try to rob me or charge me a quote-unquote toll, and also to make a donation to the Grey Wardens of 20 silver.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
I beat them up until they apologized.
Oh. That's also a good thing.
I like there's the big cute one who's like, I don't think these are normal refugees.
Yeah. If you kind of go down the dialogue tree, you can be like, so you're not really rebuilding the roads, are you? And the other guy's like, no, we're just robbing you.
Aw, he's a big cutie. Why can't I romance him?
Aw, 'cause you beat him up, John.
I know.
You can't be in a romance with someone who you beat up.
It's true, but he's a bad guy. Maybe I can reform him.
By beating him? No.
Well, once. One time because he was trying to rob me.
Oh, it's never just one time.
Vanessa, he was trying to rob me. Self-defense.
What did you do with these guys, Jim?
I tried to, like, smack some sense into him.
How'd that work out?
It was fine.
Okay.
All right.
So they ran away. I told them to leave and never come back because I didn't want them bothering people. And I also found there was this guy who was a knight, and he had a whole thing about an urn. And I was like, I'm not going to read these codexes. Who has time?
Yeah.
Not John.
I have not. I've read maybe one codex entry in this game so far.
I haven't read them, but having played this game a couple times and the other Dragon Age games as well, I sort of know everything about the lore. Or at least in a general way.
He has a note about Brother Genitivi and how we need to find him to find this urn for Earl Eamon.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Brother Genitivi is the one that Alias is all about. Isn't she like trying to find Brother Genitivi and all his drawings? And they're all like super fancy technology from the past.
What?
No, there's a whole thing in Alias that is very similar to this.
I don't know nothing about no Alias.
I've never watched Alias?
Moving on.
There is literally zombies in it by the last season.
Really?
Oh.
Maybe I should watch Alias.
It's a silly, silly show. Anyway. So, yeah, you go and the town's not doing so great. It is full of refugees. They're everywhere. They are not having enough food. There's a merchant who is scamming people and charging way too much.
Mm-hmm.
There's a name for that, right? When you're like charging in a crisis, charging too much for stuff.
Price gouging.
Gouging. That's it. Yeah, he's doing that. And you can like the lady from the chantry for some reason asks you to decide what to do with him.
Yeah, she's like, I can't deal with this. You figure it out. I just, again, used my persuasion skills, and I was like, I'm pretty sure you can still turn a profit and not sell them at ridiculously inflated prices. And he's like, fine, but you don't get a discount. And I was like, well, I didn't want a discount anyway.
That's tried that, too. And I don't have any points in persuasion, so he just left.
Oh, no.
Yeah. There is another merchant, at least. He's in the bar. One thing you find out in this town is Sir Logain has told everyone, I mentioned a little bit before, that the Grey Wardens betrayed the king. I don't know what that means. Did they like lay down, because they're all dead, so they didn't do a very good job of it?
I don't know, but he's spreading rumors every which way he can.
Don't be a Grey Warden. So we have to like keep our Grey Wardenness hush hush, I guess, because all over the map of Ferelden, everyone's going to be looking out. There's a bounty on your head. So you don't want to
keep it on the DL.
Yeah. You don't want to be super open about being your Grey Warden here.
Yeah, I wasn't great at that. Like being subtle about it. Uh-huh. And then I got attacked by a band of refugees and they're like, we're really sorry, but we really need the reward money. So I had to kill them.
Yeah, there is like, even on hard, those guys are one hit kills and you just like have a stack of villager bodies at the end of this.
Yeah, sorry guys.
There's no way around it. They are going to die. And, what did you do in town?
I did all the chantry board stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which was mostly just like go north of town and kill that thing.
Well, there's the first round is just kill all the three groups of bandits, and then you get another set of like killing bears and wolves. And finding this boy's mother, because there's a boy who walks up to you. Vanessa, I'm sure you did this part, right?
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you, my mummy? Where's my mummy?
And you're like, she's probably not coming back anytime soon. Why is my mum not coming back? And I said,
I didn't tell him that she wasn't coming back, but I was like, why don't you go to the chantry and they'll take care of you there? And he's like, I have to wait right in this spot by this bridge for my mummy.
Well, I told
but then
her,
he wanders away anyway.
Yeah, I told her that she isn't coming back, and he freaked out and went back to the house and I think got killed.
Oh, yes. No.
I never saw him again. But
I don't remember encountering this child.
I think you just have to talk to him. He's just hanging out there. But I did go and find his mom's body. But he was already dead, so...
Yeah, I found her too.
Shrug. Death toll.
Oh, well.
I'm going to keep a running death toll of children who have died by my decisions and this is one. Maybe there will be more.
What could you have done for him?
Like talk him into not leaving, I think, was what you're supposed to do.
Can you have done that?
Yeah. I just couldn't. I didn't have any persuade
way to go.
skill.
That's on your hand.
That's on me. Although, if he doesn't leave, he's probably going to die anyways, because Lothering is not in a good position.
Nope.
Nope. So I go into this bar, and immediately these guys are like, "Hey, aren't you a Grey Warden? We've got a bounty on your head, and we're going to murder you." And this lady from the Chantry's like, "Stop, you're not going to murder them. I will stop this. There will be no fighting here." And they are like, "Well, no, we're going to murder you too, miss." And she kills them.
Yeah. She, I guess that's what priestesses do in this world, but she kills them right away.
Yeah, she's like some kind of crazy murder priestess.
Yeah.
And there's a big ballroom blitz, and the man in the back said everyone attack as he raises his hand to the sky. And the girl in the corner turned out to be a member of the Chantry who was also an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah! So, yeah, you kill them, and the guy in the bar is like, well, they were kind of jerks anyway, so it's fine. I talked to the lady who's the head of the Chantry, because, actually before that, there's a guy in a cage. Another man in a cage for you, Vanessa.
Yes. This man, very big, tall. He has white hair that he has braided into cornrows.
This is a species that will be very strongly redesigned in the next game.
Yes, very.
Oh, so that's why I didn't recognize this guy. I've played some of the other games. Wait, how was he redesigned?
He's not in the later games, I don't
Right, but
think.
his species is.
Yeah, they have big horns and look like...
That's
what I thought.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a big disconnect for me. Was like, I don't remember seeing any of this guy's species in like Inquisition, which I played a couple times.
Now, he's just like Iron Bull.
He's an Iron Bull.
Yeah, he's an Iron Bull, except not as attractive.
Because of his cornrows, or?
It's just kind of a bland dude.
Because he doesn't have horns?
Yeah. He doesn't look like a big ogre.
Oh.
Yeah. Everyone likes a big ogre. Like, who's everyone's favorite character in Revenge of the Nerds? It's Ogre.
Nerds. I've never actually seen that movie, but I know who you're talking about.
Not good.
It's not good, but it does have a really great third act musical number.
Oh, yeah, that act is amazing.
That is great. That's an all-time musical number.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll look that up on YouTube, but I definitely won't.
I've legit played that song, watched that video just to watch that song, because that song is great.
It's a great song, and they do it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't believe you. Anyway, this guy's in a cage. You have different options for get him out of cage if you want to, or I think you can just leave him.
He's in a cage because he saw a family and then decided to stick his sword in the entire family.
Yeah, he killed the men, the women, the children, the pets.
Even the younglings?
Even the younglings.
Oh, no.
And he doesn't deny that he did it. So he's being held by the Chantry. And some options you have are like, well, I could kill you right now if that would make you feel better.
Yeah.
Or you can go ask the Chantry mother to let him out. Mm-hmm. Or you can...
leave him there to die.
Leave him there to die. You can probably also pick the lock if you have that ability.
Did you do the pick the lock part, or did you ask permission?
I asked permission.
Okay.
I also asked permission from the... What do they call these people? The grandmothers?
The Chantry mother?
Revered mother?
Revered mother.
Yeah. There's, in the Lothering... temple too, there's a guy who tells you more about this whole Sir Genitivi urn business, that the Earl Aemon is very sick and he sent all his knights out to find this urn because it's going to heal him. Mm-hmm. Or his wife, I think, was it his wife's idea?
I don't know.
It was someone's idea.
I wasn't paying very much attention to this urn business because I didn't care.
It's a big deal in the game.
Sure.
Sure. So chatting, this Kunari, he's a Kunari, which is another species, a special one made up by the game, that they redesigned to be more like horned big ogre men later on. His name is Sten. And, Sten, you can ask him to help you out as part of his penance for killing an entire family, if you do so choose. And, chatting with Sten is like chatting with a super hot guy who only gives you one-word answers and won't tell you much about himself. I don't know if this is a familiar situation for other people listening. And if not, I'm sorry it's not relatable. But sometimes when you talk to a very attractive person, they don't really have a lot of time to talk to you because everyone's always messaging them and they give you one-word answers.
That's really sad and annoying.
Because they're not actually interested, but they're trying not to be rude.
Gross.
It's not
That
great.
is gross.
Yeah. So he is like, it reminds me exactly of chatting to a super hot dude. He's like, yes. Do you want me to let you out? I don't care. Did you murder this family? That's what they say.
He is a follower of the Coon, which is like a strict, like religious doctrine.
Yeah, it's sort of a whole lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're like a very devout species that are very like religiously strict and ordered, I guess, to do stuff. But they're like, he's part of a research force. You find a bit more about that if you talk to him later.
So there are Kunari who are of the species who follow the Coon, but any species can follow the Coon should they wish. And they would also be Kunari.
Yes. I think you're right.
That's the only codex entry that I have read so far.
I think they're the most interesting part of Dragon Age's lore because they're new. It's not just elves and dwarves being kind of elves. I mean, the Dalish are a bit different, but and I like the whole stuff about the gods and Andraste and all that can be kind of fun.
And they're used, like the Kunari in the world of Dragon Age are used pretty sparingly. Like this world is inundated with elves and dwarves, but there's not a lot of Kunari floating around.
They tend to keep to themselves.
They tend to send people as like observers, and that's usually the only way you'll encounter them.
Yeah.
So this guy joins your party if you want him to, and I did. Did you, Jim?
Me too.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I asked for permission, and he joined my party. And so far, I've played through the game. I think I'm about 65% through. He's still in my party.
Nice.
Oh wow!
Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, he sort of
Good job,
has.
Jim.
He comes preloaded with like barbarian sort of skills, like two-handed sword weapon stuff. And, so he doesn't take a lot of damage. He's not super armored like Alistair. He does a lot of damage.
I have him, dual wielding and he is a monster.
So then you, leave, you can at any time leave Lothering. And but on your way out, you talk to you rescue these dwarves that are being attacked by Darkspawn.
Is it Darkspawn or bandits?
Oh, was it Darkspawn or bandits, actually? I think it's Darkspawn, right?
Darkspawn.
Yeah. So, these are Bohdan and Sandal, two merchant dwarves cast out. Normally dwarves aren't hanging out outside of dwarf areas, but, these two are.
Bohdan is very friendly, has a lot to say. Sandal is more reserved with his words.
He knows one?
He knows a few because Bohdan's like, say hello, son. And Sandal goes, hello. And they sort of ask about coming with you. And I was like, well, I'm a Grey Warden. I'm off to do Grey Warden stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, never mind. That sounds super dangerous. We're not going to come with you. Bye.
Yeah, but then they do.
Yeah, then they do. So they're just full of shit.
Yeah. Like the second that you leave Lothering, you have a nightmare that interrupts your camping sleepy time. And the nightmare is about this big dragon. And
yes.
Alistair's like, yeah, you get that too. That's the...
Yeah, Alistair's watching you sleep. And
as he would.
The moment you wake up, he's like, hello, I came to tell you about your nightmares.
I guess because he sort of mentally linked the same thing, so he knew you were having this nightmare. It's not like he just likes watching you sleep, which is the creepiest thing.
Maybe he does, though.
I don't know about you, Vanessa. I went on I went out with this guy for a few months, and twice I woke up and he was staring at me, and it was the worst.
Yeah. I just feel like in that case, like, you must have done something to wake me up. Or maybe he was just staring for that long. I don't know.
I don't know. Ugh. Don't do that.
It's creepy.
Don't do that. Unless your partner says, I love waking up to you staring at me. In which case, sure, you're consenting adults. You can do whatever you like.
That's true.
So yeah, he says, since we've drank from the taint and are tainted, you now have a mental connection with the archdemon, which means this is a real blight, because the blights tend to be led by an archdemon, and if it's not a real one, it's just like random groups of darkspawn, but the archdemon is organizing them, so it's a real one. Yep.
So, sucks to be you.
And since you can sense it, it can also sense you.
Yep.
And so it knows that there's still Grey Wardens around.
Not great news.
No. And then now you're at the camp, and you can, chat with people, if you'd like. I had a long talk with Morrigan about her mom and about how her mom, there's story of Flemeth and her lovers, which I say I was familiar with, so I sort of fill in some details. Basically, Flemeth was in love with this man, but then got sold to another guy who then scammed them, I think is the story.
But then you're told that, that might not be true.
That it could be a story, but that's, and then the guy she loved got killed anyways, and that was part of what made her evil. It was all a big scam. And she talks about her sisters and why she doesn't know why she hasn't met her sisters, and that her mom's kind of mysterious. And she talks a little bit about being a little girl and being kind of wishing she could be living in the cities and having fun. And it doesn't seem like a super great childhood living with Flemeth out in the bog.
Yep.
Do you feel like Flemeth and Morrigan sometimes, Vanessa? Is your mom a super powerful woman?
I mean, yes, of course.
What? The audacity.
Let's see. Do I feel... Well, no.
Okay.
Because my mother is not very controlling.
Okay.
She doesn't really care what I do or who I do it with. As long as I'm happy and safe.
So she's not raising you to be a powerful warrioress/sorceress.
I can't say that.
Okay.
But I can say that her methodologies are different than what Flemeth seems to be.
Okay.
We don't snipe at each other the way that Morgan and Flemeth seem to snipe at one another.
There's a lot of stew talk. Do you notice that? Half of the dialogue is about stew when those two are hanging out.
Yeah.
To be honest, that made me kind of hungry for stew.
Stew is good.
Yeah.
Who is Stu? Oh, that's the guy you replaced me with temporarily.
No. Stu Skeel was not on the podcast. That was Stan.
Oh.
Dr. Stephen Stone. And he replaced both of you.
He did.
Yeah.
It takes one man to fill
replace
in for
two of
me
these
and
hoes.
Jim. Yeah. Shoes that only one man can fill. Two on his feet and two on his hands.
That's how he did it. It was kind of weird. I don't know how he got your shoes, and I didn't ask. So, moving on. You get to...
I'm fading out. Let's quick it up.
All right, quicken it up. You get to Redcliffe. You were going there because Earl Aemon is going to help you. He's got connections with, the rest. He's got an army. He can, tell the people that, the queen that the Grey Wardens did not betray, Kaelin, but in fact, her father did.
He sort of raised Alistair, but he's not Alistair's father.
No.
Alistair's very clear about that in Lothering. Did you have him in your party when you entered Redcliffe?
Yeah, of course.
As did I. How about you, Jim?
I did. I don't think you have enough. I mean, if you want to have a full party, you kind of have to have him in, right?
Well, you can have Stan and Doggy.
I guess you could have Stan and... No, I didn't, actually. I had Stan, Morrigan, and the dog.
Ah.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Leliana. She joins you because she had a vision from Andraste to help you. Yes.
Yeah, she says the Maker gave her a vision to go with you.
Yes. So this assassin lady joins you without really asking, and you're like, I think you can say no, but I'm not turning away help.
Yeah.
And she's a thiefy lady if you need someone to open chests. Except it turns out all the chests in Redcliffe she's not skilled enough to open.
Oh, sucks to suck.
Yeah, she needs to be better. What is wrong with her?
Yeah.
Calls herself
together,
a thief.
sister.
Yeah.
She calls herself a priestess, actually.
Mm-hmm. And the revered mother is totally cool with her going. Everyone's cool. You have this party member. She can use 2 weapons if you want. I equipped her with 2 weapons.
And I made her an archer.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
Oh, I don't have any archers.
Except for this part. Well, I kept her for the beginning, but for the actual battle, I replaced her with Sten. So I had 3 warriors and a mage, basically.
I try to have one of each type.
It's really tricky right now because Morrigan's initial selection of spells kind of sucks, and you have to wait to get really good ones. If you have your own mage, you can just choose the good spells from the start.
Well, Jim, let me tell you something. If you have Alistair in your party when you enter Redcliffe, he'll tell you a little bit more about his heritage. And what does he tell you? He tells you who his father is.
Who's his father?
Who? Guess who? Guess who?
The king.
Yep, the former King Merrick. Which makes him... But
he's an illegitimate son.
He is. He was the half-brother of the cocky King Kaelin, who got himself killed in a catastrophe.
Cocky King Kaelin, killed in catastrophe.
Yep. So that was his half-brother. He is the son of someone and the king, and that's why he was raised by the Arl, who was the king's uncle or something like that. And then he was sent away when the Arl remarried and had his own son, because there were rumors that he was the Arl's son, and his new wife didn't like that. And it was all just a mess, but turns out he is. You have a great dialogue line you can choose, and it says, "So you're not just a bastard, you're a royal bastard."
Nice.
Yep, that's what I said to him. He liked it.
At this point, I'd accidentally sold like all my good armor, but then realized I hadn't put any good armor on Sten yet. So I was like trying to figure out who to equip with what. So actually, I didn't get this because I didn't have him in the party when I walked into the town. I had a naked Sten just wearing a Speedo. And
nice.
Yep, and a naked Leliana because I took her equipment.
Me and Sten are always like swapping armors because we're both warriors. We're both like the kind of the tanks in the party,
right?
So we're always swapping armors back and forth.
Yeah, that's pretty intimate.
It's weird that an armor that could fit Sten, who's like 7 feet tall, could fit my dwarf character.
Yeah, I was going to say the same about Leliana and Sten. They seem to be able to wear the same clothes.
It's the magical pants, the sisterhood of the traveling magic pants.
He does have a magical Speedo. It is very magical.
He does have clothing that you could have had him wear.
Yeah, I think I already sold it. It was fine. He could just hang out in his little Speedo.
It's accidentally sold all your clothes, bro. Sorry, didn't know how that happened.
Oopsies. I guess you're going to have to... Do you need some oil on these muscles? Just let me know.
So, how's the town doing there? Pretty good?
Yeah, the town's not doing great. They are nightly sieged by the undead.
As happens from time to time.
No, this is pretty weird.
They seem very confused about why no one has come to help them.
Mm-hmm.
You can sort of tell them, well, there's a civil war brewing and a blight and all of this other stuff, and they're just like, oh man, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, Earl Aemon has locked himself up in the castle, and now every night, streams of the undead come out. And if you have Morrigan in the party, she says, oh, this kind of means that someone's doing some blood magic in that castle. That's a real bad sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you sort of are given a few little tasks to do by the villagers. You can, because they have formed a militia, and they are planning to face the undead that very night. They ask you to go talk to the blacksmith and get him to agree to repair some equipment of theirs. He is drunk, very upset because his daughter's a maid in the castle, and he makes you promise to find her if you can and bring her back. I agreed, and Morgan did not like that.
So there's a handful of things that you're tasked to do in order to better the chances of the Redcliffe people, right?
Yeah.
So one is the one that Vanessa was talking about, which is convince the blacksmith to help repair the stuff. Mm-hmm. 2 is to recruit the dwarf man
Yep.
to help
Dwayne.
you. Dwayne. 3, what's the third one?
Well, those are the 2 that you're given right away, but you can also, there's a elf who's a member of this weird group that's monitoring you. You can get him to help.
Yeah, he's a sneaky spy.
Yeah. You can confront this elf in the bar that's just like staring at you. And get him to join the attack.
And the bartender.
Oh, I didn't convince him to.
There's another thing though, right? Oh, the blessing thing that you had. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's a bunch of knights, Templar knights, I think, or maybe they're just regular knights, and they're asking for a blessing. So, did you do all these things, Jim?
I did not do the elf thing, but I did all the other things. So since I'm playing as a dwarf and I went to go talk to Dwyn to get him to help, he obviously wanted money. I tried to persuade him using my dwarven female body.
Oh.
But he was not into that.
So I just bribed him. I was like, look, Dwyn, I don't have time.
I eventually did that too, but I was like, I'll spend the night with you if you do it. And he's like, it's been a long time since I had a dwarf lady in my bed. But he's like, no, I don't think so.
Oh. Vanessa.
Yeah.
How did you get the dwarf or the blacksmith or the elf or anything?
I caught them all.
Yay.
Yeah, the dwarf I persuaded by saying I would put in a good word with the Arl. You also had the option of trying to seduce him. I did not go that route.
I did not try that.
But you can be like, what about a personal reward? The blacksmith, I promised to get his daughter. The elf, I basically just threatened.
Yep, me too.
And same with the bartender. I was like, hey, you slub, why don't you go help? And he's like, I don't have to. I'm going to lock myself in the cellar.
See, with him, I was like, oh, that's a great plan. You should do that. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I intimidated him. I felt a little bad because then he's like, the Arl said we don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we didn't talk about Arl Tegan.
No, who's Arl Tegan?
Arl Tegan is the brother of the Earl of Redcliffe. He's just kind of standing around in the chantry. He knows Alistair, and he's very interested to meet my character. Wink.
Oh. Wink.
Yeah, you can sort of, I don't know if it happened for you guys, but you can have a dialogue with him where you ask him, oh, can I ask you like some personal questions? And then with persuade, get him to start talking to you. You can be like, oh, Are you married? Or, you can say, oh, do you have a family? He's like, oh, do you mean am I married? No, I haven't had the, pleasure, but, if I did, I'd sure like it to be to someone like you. And then he's like, are you married? And you say no, although you have the option to lie and say yes, which I thought was great. You could be like, ooh, how is that even possible? I'm making him sound kind of sleazy. He's really not. Like, he's a nice guy.
Are you trying to get Alistair jealous?
No, would I do something like that?
Was he in your party while you were doing all this?
Yes. Maybe it would be good for Alistair to realize that I'm a eligible and attractive woman to many people.
Well, one fun thing is if you keep Earl Tegan alive until Dragon Age Inquisition, he actually teams up with, do you remember Sarah, the elf girl?
Yes.
Yeah, and if you'll find them together, and she says, "Look, calm down. I'm calling you to say I'm capsized, staring on the edge of safe. Calm down. I'm calling back to say I'm home now. I'm coming around. I'm coming around. Well, nobody likes to, but I really like to cry. Nobody likes me, maybe if I cry." Huh?
Yikes.
If you understood that reference, write in to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
If you're angry about the quality of our references on the show, please email us, squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. Click the link at the bottom of the podcast. There's no link. So the other thing is in the Chantry, basically all the villagers are huddled up in the Chantry because the town is being destroyed every night. It's worse and worse. They're going to not make it another night if you do not help. And there's a girl who's looking for her brother who ran off back to their house, even though everyone's kind of supposed to hole up in the Chantry. And you can go, if you'd like, rescue this boy. But if you say you will do that, Morrigan's like, "Oh, are we going to help everyone find every lost puppy?"
Oh, shoot.
Morrigan hates everything that helps other people.
Yeah, I said I'd do that, and I totally forgot. Whoopsie.
Well, I found him in a closet, and he had something secret in there. And I was like, "Well, what do you got in there?" And he's like, "I'm not going to tell." And I tried using persuade, and he said, No, I'm going back to my sister. Bye. So I think he's got some good item you can get. Yeah.
Well, maybe he's still in the closet. Maybe I'll look for him.
The whole blacksmith thing, getting him to work on the equipment, I just beat down the door and then promised to save his daughter who is in the castle. So it's sort of like a good cop, bad cop there, really.
You do what you need to do to get the job done. And now that we're ready, it's a whole swarm situation, eh?
Yeah, and I think the enemies you fight here kind of depend on what level you are and how far you are in the story. I think they get harder if you do this later.
Oh, interesting.
Are they ever different enemy types, or are they always the same, like undead weirdos?
I feel like I fought some harder things like the first time I did this, like ogres and stuff, maybe.
Oh, okay. I just got like skeletons.
Yeah, it was pretty... it was really hard on hard. But I managed to do it. What I had to do was basically equip almost everybody with bows except for Sten and have them stand way back so that the skeletons were like charging up a narrow path and getting destroyed by arrows on their way. And then Morrigan was, I got her a cone of cold kind of spell where she like ice blasts a group. And that one's really good.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Because that does tons of damage. And yeah, basically with your mages, you want to have mass area of effect spells, though there is friendly fire on normal and harder. On easy, there is not.
Oh, really? Because even when I go to like assign like skills for her and stuff, it will still warn me about friendly fire.
But I think there is no friendly fire on easy. I could be wrong.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this basically it's like a 2 or 3 wave attack. At first, you're just helping the knights up at the top, and then you go down to the village where the mayor is kind of holed up and being attacked. And I couldn't save the mayor; he died. If you have time, I think you can't do this after the cutscene, but before the cutscene, you can loot the bodies of all the named characters for really good gear. if they do get killed. But it's a super epic battle. Like it's a half-hour piece of combat. You can sort of save in between waves if you try, but it won't autosave. This game does not autosave very often. So save in between waves. The second you stop fighting, just pause for a sec, let everyone heal. Because I am running out of potions all the time. And I'm
really
crafting them. And yeah, like I'll guzzle through like 15 potions in a fight. It's pretty hard.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I got to work on my combat abilities.
I had not used a potion until after this battle.
Oh, jeez. What about you, Vanessa?
I am doing fine. I don't have to use healing items for reasons.
Oh, I won't console you on that.
Yeah, sometimes time is limited, and sometimes when you're a super cool PC gamer, you'd like to modify your experience with things.
Commands.
You command the game to behave in maybe a way that's easier for it to kill everything on screen all at once.
Oh no! Did you really use the kill all command? That's fine. You're playing for the story.
That's right. I'm just playing for the story.
Yeah.
I'm playing it as a dating simulator.
Well, we'll have to see how things go, because afterwards, at least for me, Arl Tegan and the knights and the lady of the chantry all get together and thank you for helping save the village. They mourn the loss of the poor mayor who died in combat. And there's a scripted event that's like, now let us remember those who died defending Lothering, the mayor. Moving on.
Clap. Oh.
It was just the mayor.
The woman said, let's remember the people who died, but did not name anyone in particular. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember anyone being named either.
Well, just playing on
It's not your fault he ran into an undead sword.
So, we forgot about the one weird quest. To get the Knights a blessing, you have to con them, because like the chantry lady's like, I can't do that. That's not something I don't have that ability.
Yeah, they don't have magic charms in their faith.
I couldn't persuade her to do it. So I just said, she can't do it.
Oh.
And they said, well, we'll have to be on our best behavior anyways.
Yeah, I did persuade her to do it. And Leliana did not like that. She thought that we should not play with their faith and that their faith has to come from the heart. But Morrigan thought it was great.
What about you, Jim? Did you get her to bless?
I did, yeah. It took some talking though. She was really resistant to it.
Did you intimidate her?
I tried to, but it didn't work.
Oh boy. And so that's it. That is the Siege of Redcliffe.
Yay!
Now, I believe next time, Vanessa, you were saying the Circle of Magi / Tower and the Castle of Redcliffe?
Yeah, I think that will be enough.
Mm-hmm. Those are two big chunkers.
Yep.
You know, I've done like all of the other things in the game, and I'm doing the Magi Tower now.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Like I've done the Dalish Camp and Denerim, and I haven't done Orzammar yet, but I've done like a few of the other things, and I'm just now getting to the Magi Tower. So this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Matthew is caught up, so he'll just be doing those two things next. I think he's already started the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there are some things that are sort of intertwined with the castle and the Circle of Magi, should you choose to play it that way. But
yeah, I think I'm going to do it that way, because I want
I did not play it that way.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to hear about the people who do.
Yeah.
right. So that's next time on Square Roots. But before we go, Jim, what's the next segment?
Let's see. There were no bullshit mini games in this one, right?
There are no mini games in Dragon Age.
Not in this whole game?
I don't think so.
Wow, suck it, audience. You're not going to get that for this game.
Inquisition has them.
Audience.
But we can talk about what we're squarely against.
Yeah.
Yay!
Can I go first? Because I'm going to say that I'm roundly for most of this game, with the exception of I don't fully understand the specialty system. Because, like I said, I've gone through a bunch of dungeons in this game and picked up, what I would think are a couple optional specialties, and I don't know how to activate them, and I don't understand how they work. I don't understand their benefits, and combat, maybe just because I'm playing on easy, just seems like combat.
Well, it sounds like you need to Google something.
But I think until you play, that's one of the reasons I like playing these games on harder difficulties, is it does unlock the use, basically it makes abilities more useful because you have to use them.
So I guess I'll just never figure out how to be an arcane warrior.
No. I don't even know how to. I know that's a thing. I think I made Morrigan become one, maybe?
She's a mage, John.
Oh, you can't make her become an arcane warrior?
Nah, I don't know.
Oh.
No, I think all of your characters already have their specialties.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure.
Oh, I could be wrong then. I am open to that.
Wow. We have a lot to discover together.
Yay!
As friends.
What are you roundly for or squarely against, Vanessa?
It's a little tough this week, but I'm gonna have to say I'm roundly for Alistair. Oh, he's the dreamiest. He's funny. He is handsome. He's a secret prince. It's just like a Hallmark movie, but with more blood.
Could you date his voice actor in real life?
Could I date his voice actor in real life? I mean, I'm not quite sure how to approach that question.
That's kind of a personal question there.
If he asked you on a date, do you think that you could stand to go on one date with him?
Oh, sure. I'll go on one date with just about anyone.
Wow.
Except the ears of our listeners perk up.
Except our listeners, Vanessa, because that would be unethical.
Except our listeners, because that would be unethical. Sorry, boys. Wink. I guess. I mean, I don't know how old he is. He's not grotesquely much older than I am, I don't think. He's probably married or something. Don't you think?
Well, I mean, it was a what if. I mean,
like Fantasy World?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
So if you did, would you make him be would you make him be Alistair all the time?
That would be awful.
That's what I was kind of getting at, was would you just like be closing your eyes, like sitting across from him at a dinner table, just closing your eyes as he talked about his boring day, just imagining that he's Alistair?
Oh, let's see. He was born in 1966.
He's almost 6'5". He's like a foot taller than
that's
me.
Not 65.
No, he's almost...
That's like 52.
6'5", Jim. He's almost 6'5".
Oh, I thought you meant 65.
He's almost
He's not a senior
65.
Citizen, John.
What did you say, 52? It's legal, but that's probably...
Well, I don't think that Ina Korobkina is going to stand. Although, who knows? Everyone's got different kinds of relationships. Maybe she's cool with that.
He is
a magician.
Ina Korobkina?
That is his current wife.
Oh, congratulations.
After he divorced longtime wife Sherry Valentine.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that didn't work out, but I'm glad that he found love again.
She was in such movies as Transformers Dark of the Moon, Driven to Kill, and Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Oh.
And she is 37 years old.
Okay, so if you could date Sherry Valentine, would you?
Jim?
Hold on. Sherry Valentine. Let me
sorry,
Google
that's
it.
Ina Korobkina, who is 37 years old, not Sherry Valentine.
How old is Sherry Valentine?
I don't know.
Sherry Valentine. Is she an actress?
John just said she was in Dark Side of the Moon.
Shirley.
No,
do you mean Shirley Valentine?
No, that's a movie. Ina Korobkina was in Dawn of the Dead and all those other things.
Okay.
Oh.
Sherry Valentine was only in The Horror and the Mystery of the Succubus in 1986.
no.
Well, no, she's not successful enough.
Wow.
Oh, harsh.
Listen, I'm a gold digger, so.
Oh no. Yeah. Ina Korakova is younger than I am, so I guess I would date Steve Valentine.
All right. Well, what am I roundly for, you're asking? Well, I am roundly for the combat. I think it's really fun. I really like trying to figure out how to get through the fights. I treat each one kind of like a puzzle. It does take me a long time because I'm real dumb and bad at video games, but I like it. So, yeah, it's awesome.
John, your resolve to play so many video games when you're bad at them is very inspiring.
It is. I find it much more inspiring than someone who's good at video games and masters each of them. You know? You're much more relatable, John.
Yay! I'm an everyman.
Yeah!
I'm like James Corbin, only not annoying. That's his name, right? The guy with the singing karaoke?
Yeah! The guy who, puts people in his cars.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh.
Is that his name? Comcam?
James
Comcam? That's not a name.
Corbin.
Yeah, I think that's what I said. Anyway, let's end this rapidly deteriorating podcast.
We're really
pretty fast.
Really way off base.
We're struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we reading the names?
I'll do it so fast, Jim, you won't even believe.
Please do.
Do it so fast.
Oh, should we all do? You'll do it? Okay, yeah, let's do our chunks, and I'll do Matthew's as well.
Okay. So, we're gonna read off the names of our patrons now. If you would like your name read, join the appropriate tier on our Patreon, patreon.com/squareitspodcast.
$3 gets you all the extra episodes, and $5 a month gets you, voting rights for upcoming games.
I'm pretty proud of our bonus content.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff.
I think it's
there.
pretty good. Yeah. So, here we go. Let's start with Andrew Random Letters. Andrew Granieri, Artie Pavlov, Ashley T, Benjamin Avner, Benzina Banzoni, Bobby Midkiff, Brady A. Berman, Bree Girth, Brian Pitt, Brian Stone, Brody Brooding, Brady Brandy, Brandon Bradley Toy, Cameron Show, Kevin Mazur, Chris Penyak, Cyril the Wolf, David Green.
David Shook, Devin Sloaner, Garvey, Florian Jonas, Kramer, Gage, I still can't do it. I'm sorry, Gage. George Armbuster, Gocry, Wolf Gregory, Huxley Guana, Jake Dickerson, James Hostetler, James Platt, Jonathan Ellsworth, Jonathan Lee, Joseph A. Rogers, Josh Anderson, Julia Zanelli, Julian Titus, and Justin Benoit.
I'm Matthew, Justin Ham, Vanessa's mom, Crystal Thamrin, Lord Palmerston, Matt Jorgensen, Megan Sullivan, Miguel Torres, Mothman Mothman's Mandalorian Marmalade Makes Math Money, Nathan Poirot, Nick, Owen Marble, I'm vaping, Patrick Coover, Lord of Binturongs, Patrick W. Barris, PJ Inns, Race Jenkins, Randy Pierce, Rusty Kamada, and me, John, Robert M. Pullum, Robert T., Ross Hartley, Ryan Miller, Sam Harrison, Sammy Mitchell, Sean Walsh, Stu Skeel, Tom, Tracy Tanoff, Tyler Petty, Vanessa's mom, Ward Childress, Wonder Swan, Xavier Krieger, Zachary Davis. Wow, that was the fastest we've ever done it.
All right, let's see. All right, everybody, please send us an email. We are at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. We love getting emails. We love reading them on the air. Send us one, and we'll be delighted to read it. If you can't be bothered to send an email, come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod. Thanks to Edward Alenko for his cover of Leliana's song. You can find him on YouTube or at facebook.com/EdwardMusic. Also, links to these and his SoundCloud in the show notes.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you screenshot your review and post in the Facebook group or Twitter, I'll tell you how you leveled up. All right,
everybody, that's it for this week's Square Roots. Just a reminder, we are playing from Redcliffe Castle to the end of the Mage Tower.
Yeah. So
or perhaps the other way around, depending on how you decide to do it.
Yeah. However you feel like it. All right, everybody, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm John Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa. Bye.
Bye. Murder fight, like he got to see up close what the dark. Oh, kitten!
Oh no!
Sorry, there's a cat.
Oh, there it is.
There's a
show
cat.
to camera. Show to camera.
Oh, how old's Kitty?
She's 2 years old.
Oh,
how is getting a cat not your level up? Jim got
I haven't
a cat.
talked about it yet. That's a good point. She did something to my computer, and I don't know how to undo it.
Oh, is it recording?
Yeah, it's still recording, and I can hear you guys, but the window that I was looking at is now my entire screen.
Try Escape.
Oh, wait. I got it.
Or Apple, or Windows D will get you out of there.
I got it.
All right. So, Sir Jory's, he wasn't dealing well with the Darkspawn in the first place. He's really freaked out, and now seeing Daveth die just breaks him. He says he has a wife and kids and has to go back to them. Like so many coworkers that can't do overtime, and decides to split. Unfortunately, Duncan doesn't take this very well.
Oh, look at our notes. There's cat typing on there.
There are?
Yeah.
Where's the cat type? Oh, whoa.
Cat wants to say 7600.
All right. So, Vanessa, what happens to Sir Jory? Using the environment to win the battles is key, because you can't just use one good spell over and over again. It has a recharge time, so you gotta like kind of mix and match. All right, get the kitten off the keyboard.
You can't step on the keyboard.
Do you like having a cat, Jim?
I do. It only like she does this thing when she wants to play where she'll perch, like she'll settle herself around the corner from a room that I'm in, and when I walk out of the room, she'll jump out and attack my leg.
My cat does that.
Yeah. Is it your first cat? I know you had
my
a dog.
first cat since I was 16.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.